The game may have been the lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, but the commercials were the most expensive. This year, a 30-second ad cost $5.25 million, according to Gameday Views. Verizon had the top commercial. Here's a clip of the team that wouldn't be here.
In my mind, I was thinking, I'm going to have to bury my child.
If they would have arrived even just a hair later than they did, wouldn't be playing football, because I wouldn't be here today.
Just a true miracle to be alive.
Tara Walpert Levy is here to discuss. She is a vice president at YouTube. She leads agency and brand solutions for the company and Google. Tara, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with that Verizon ad. Why do you think that it connected with so many people?
We saw a big theme in the ads this year around purpose or mission-driven ads that really resonated, and I think Verizon played right into that. So talking about NFL players who literally wouldn't be there but for the actions of first responders who saved their lives.
Yeah.
I think that just struck a heartstring. It's a positive message, and people loved it.
It's a real tearjerker because as you're watching it, you're sort of wondering, where is this going exactly?
Well, and it has the element of surprise in addition to tugging at your heartstrings, which is just a slam dunk.
And you think, absolutely, I get it. I love Verizon, just by watching. But you know, a lot of people are saying that this year's ads were not as impressive as past years as a whole. I mean, what are some of the others that you think stood out? And was there any one in your mind that really backfired?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I've heard people saying that this crop of ads was not as strong. I really liked them. And we saw roughly a quarter of them were these purpose or mission-driven ads that tend to resonate in particular with younger viewers. And so there may be some disconnect there in terms of who's commenting and versus who's watching. Because we saw ad viewership up on YouTube of these ads almost 60%, almost 80% on mobile on a really big base.
Yeah.
So they seem to like them.
There are some that are so fun and sort of creative. I'm thinking of the Hyundai ad. I feel like when there's an element of surprise and true creativity, that's when the viewer really appreciates it.
Totally. Purpose or humor. I mean, the NFL's ad itself was actually very, very much admired, and I thought a lot of fun.
Exactly. I have to say that Hyundai ad made me laugh, though. I mean, from the root canal floor to the
jury duty.
Yeah, it was good. That was creative. But you know, interestingly enough, many of these ads this year, or most of them, were not at all political, and that was different from last year's crop. Why do you think that is?
I think the ads around the Super Bowl tend to reflect where the country is, right? And this year, I think there was a strong sentiment that people wanted unity. They wanted to be uplifted.
They were a little sick of politics.
A little bit. And if you think about the purpose or the mission, they weren't apolitical. They were just not controversial, and that's different. I think there was a lot of enthusiasm. That Microsoft ad that talked about how accessible technology made such a difference for young gamers, and that's a unifying theme that matters to people. It just brings us all together rather than be divisive.
Absolutely. And so other than the ads, what other parts of the Super Bowl or the halftime show are trending online?
So we've seen a couple things. I mean, around the game itself, we saw a 5,000% spike in lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, which you'd imagine, given what was going on.
It was a little slow at the beginning. It was a little slow.
Exactly. But low excitement in the game turned into excitement about the halftime show. We saw a lot of top searches there, in particular things like, this made me chuckle, is Adam Levine married?
Ooh.
Who's his wife?
Especially when the shirt came off, that research went through the roof.
And, other end of the spectrum, I think.
Right.
We saw searches for SpongeBob double when he made an appearance in the halftime show.
It's so fascinating what these searches can tell us about the collective American mind at any given moment. What did people think of the halftime show in general as compared to previous halftime shows?
Well, and so, again, that we can only really read through searches and viewership, and that continues to climb. Again, the social media discussion, you've got folks on both sides, but if nothing else, people were engaged.
Right. Now, we know that the game was available to view on CBS All Access. A lot of people streamed it.
Yeah.
Is that where you see the future of TV and events like this going? I mean, streaming seems to be, every year, more and more people watch events like the Super Bowl streaming online.
I think we'll see more and more of that. CBS has demonstrated that. You see a lot of players showing the attractiveness of that to people. And yes, I think we're going to see more and more of that. I think the other thing that's really interesting is that digital platforms and extensions of television in general have really actually increased people's consumption of sports, right? They're watching more clips of behind the scenes, more highlights, more funny clips. And so while the place that people are watching may get fragmented, I think the fact that overall people are watching more is only good for everybody.
So from a viewership perspective, meaning how many eyeballs were on this event, whether on TV or online, and how many people are talking about it and searching and reviewing videos on YouTube, was it a success? Was the Super Bowl a success?
It was a huge success. I mean, again, one of the best metrics we have real time is how people are viewing the ads. And that was up 60% overall and 80% on mobile. So people are definitely more and more engaged.
That's a big spike. All right, Tara, thank you so much for coming to see us.
Thanks for having me.